Y'all, I got so much respect for streamers. Good morning. I'm sitting here trying to set everything up the best the best way I can, you guys. So bear with me. I'm learning along the way. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Miss India, it's the real Magnolia. Scott Johnson. Everybody, hello. Good morning. So, welcome back to the show, Burgundy Blue Commentary. Y'all, we gonna change our name because of our initials eventually. People be just throwing those initials out there. But I gotta figure it out. I don't know. Hey you guys, good morning. So, oh, before I even start the show, y'all ready for today? Oh, today you could feel when I woke up this morning, you could feel the dreariness over the township of Thornton Township. Lord. Two meetings today. We'll chit chat about it later, hopefully. Two meetings today, an emergency meeting in Thornton Township, and then the village board meeting, a regular scheduled board meeting. And you guys see his plans for the Dalton Rising situation to happen. So this should be um I hate to say entertaining because I don't it's kind of draining for me, but it's crazy. A lot of people be tuning in. It's almost like it was promoted like a what's that thing when it's like Jake Paul versus Tyson? It's like promoted all through the street. So We'll see how it goes tonight. Make sure you subscribe to Critical Smoker and you subscribe to Reality Check TV Chicago so you can see the live streams this evening. All right. So I wanted to talk about a story that was sent to me, and it's about oh, my mouse died. Let me figure this out. It's about these Garfield. Good morning, Gartis. um Garfield East Apartments. It's in Chicago, Illinois. South, not too far. But you know, okay, I don't know. Blessed of those who haven't had to be in a situation ever in their life where they didn't have lights or gas or anything like that. Blessed are you that you've never had to deal with those things. But that's a real issue. I think the worst thing uh, that can happen is especially if your water get cut off. If your gas get cut off, you're okay for maybe a day. If your water get cut off, it's so many things that run through it. Like you need all your utilities. So you guys rent, then utilities. I moved out when I was like 17ish, 18, and child. Let me tell you, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. So I've experienced it. So yeah. Um if you know this apartment thing, you guys sent it to me. Some people sent it to me and they wanted me to cover it. They told these people to leave their gas has been up off in the building since November. They told these people to heat their house with their ovens, and my heart dropped because we're going to go over some stories. So this will be a sensitive subject matter where we've seen people heat their homes because their utilities were cut off or things of that nature. Um, I I can't believe this. So the news, we're going to go through the news report. They finally got in touch with the alderman, and the alderman said he's going to be on it. So we're going to follow this story up. Let's see what is happening over here at Garfield East Apartments. This is insane. Like, that's what you're telling people, to heat their homes like that. Space heaters are scary enough. But let's listen.
Residents of East Garfield Park are speaking out, saying they haven't had heat in more than a month. It's causing problems for seniors and children with health challenges. Nate Rogers brings us the story that you'll see only here on Fox 32.
Just as the city is opening 10 South Kedzie as a warming center to help families brave the bitter cold, there are apartment.
We gotta pause. Y'all know why I'm pausing, right? Y'all, what we gonna do with Nate? What we gonna do with Nate? What's his name? Nate Rogers. What we gonna do with him? Can we get into the coat, the stripes, the okay, Nate? Give it to us, Nate. Give it to us. The fashion. Give it to us. All right. He's a distract. We can't even get to the story. The fashion is enough. Okay, y'all. Let's go.
Bring us the story that you'll see only here on Fox 32.
Just as the city is opening 10 South Kedzie as a warming center to help families brave the bitter cold, there are apartment units for low-income families about a block away where residents tell me they have not had heat since before Thanksgiving. Those families telling me they've reached out to property management, the city, and even federal resources, but the problem still exists. So when did you notice the heat wasn't working?
I would probably say the first week in November.
They told us to go buy heaters and open up our oven. Do you know how dangerous it is to leave your oven open?
Me and my daughter and my grandson, we'll sleep in the living room just so we can be closer to the heat source.
Residents welcoming Fox 32 into their chilly apartments. All of them single mothers bravely speaking out.
My baby just recently got over a cold because it's been so cold in the house. I have to keep the oven on
multiple times a day for it to even get warm.
The no heat complaints coming from multiple families who reside in the Martin Luther King Jr. Plaza apartments along West Madison Street. Chavez Williams' 11-year-old son, Caden, has chronic asthma.
He's sick, and this is around the time where he could usually be hospitalized.
As temps begin to drop, residents have relied on space heaters, boiling water, and a big no-no, keeping their ovens open just to stay warm. As a result, Angela Parchman got this notice from ComEd that her electricity usage increased 179% this billing cycle. Parchman pays more than $1,300 every month to reside here.
We don't have no carbon monoxide detectors or anything, no fire extinguishers, no nothing. There's mold, there's cracks, leaking ceilings.
The MLK apartments include more than 15 buildings and 130 units for low-income families. It's unknown how many people are currently without heat. A pipe burst recently occurred at one of the buildings.
Once again, in a puddle of water, I'm constantly turning this sump pump.
This is video from Stacy Lockhart walking in her flooded apartment Thanksgiving Day.
I have another friend. She's disabled. She's pretty much confined to a bed. She do have someone that comes and help her from time to time.
And our calls to property management were unreturned. We did get in contact with Alderman Jason Irving, who was not even aware of the heating issue at these apartment buildings. He confirmed the issue and reached out to the commissioner for the Department of Buildings. He tells us that he'll be looking into this incident on Monday. Reporting on the city's west side, Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Well, it's Monday, Alderman. It's Monday. All right, we need to get that fixed for these people. This is very scary. Hey, Conscious, good to see you. Scott, I'm looking at your comment. You are so funny. Yeah, this leave your oven open. And I'm gonna read Garda's comment. I guess they never heard of possible carbon monoxide poison from just getting heat from ovens. Exactly. And you know what? If you're okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm not supposed to say it, but I gotta say it. The thing about sometimes when they get the subsidized rent or Section 8 payments, like I see it out this way all the time. The people that own the properties, they neglect the properties because they're a lot of times they don't even live in town. That check just get direct deposited from the state. They don't have to worry about that the portion that the state or the county is paying for rent, and they neglect the tenants. Flooding, that could cause bugs. You know, you're getting dampness through your house, that causes like water bugs and all type of stuff, right? And you don't need that when you're trying to go to work every day, raise your family, have all this going on, and you got to worry about no heat and a flooded apartment. You should be able to call maintenance right away to get things done. But that really scared me about the oven being open. Like, it's uncomfortable being cold. Then I can imagine. So people get desperate. So they figure out a way to warm up their homes, and that's one of the ways. I want to go to this story. I don't know if you guys remember this. This was like 8 years ago or so. I'll never forget it. I think Oprah covered it as well. But this man was trying to heat his home with the children, I believe. Let's go into it.
Getting a suspected case of carbon monoxide poisoning that killed a father and his 7 children. They were found dead inside a home yesterday. Police say there is no sign of foul play here. They believe that the family was using a gas generator inside the house. Vladimir Dudier shows us why. Vlad, good morning.
Good morning. Rodney Todd Sr. and his children, 5 girls and 2 boys, were found dead inside their home. The father reportedly went out to buy a gas generator because the power had been cut off. His boss, who was concerned because she hadn't seen the man since last month, led police to the home.
This hurts. It hurts. It hurts me.
On Monday, Bonnie Edwards learned she lost her son and 7 grandchildren.
He was such a good man. He was such a good man. And when they told me he wasn't going to work, I knew something was wrong. And the kids wasn't going to school, I knew something was wrong.
According to Edwards, Rodney Todd Sr. and his 7 children, ages 6 to 16, were relying on a gas generator to stay warm. It's likely they were overcome by carbon monoxide, an odorless gas.
That generator was off and out of gas. The power was off in the house. And they were in different rooms, in beds, in sleeping positions.
Todd's boss, Stephanie Wells, said a bad feeling led her to check on him. She hadn't heard from the 36-year-old father in more than a week.
I just felt that something was wrong, that he didn't report to work, and nobody could contact him because he's not that type of person.
Wells urged police to do a welfare check. And when the property owner let them into the house, police found 8 bodies.
His life, he just wanted to do everything that was right, and he was setting a good example for his children, and he did just that.
Todd was a food service employee at the nearby University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
A great worker, he's been there, and he would do anything I asked him to do. And, I loved him. I used to call him my big teddy bear. And it's just hurtful to knowing him and 7 kids are gone.
The children's mother has been notified. Neighbors said Todd was divorced. We reached out to Delmarva Power for a comment, and the spokesman would only say an investigation is ongoing at this time. Nora?
Thank you, Vlad. What an awful story.
Heartbreaking.
I would feel just like family. We were devastated. I live in New Jersey now, so we were ready to come right away. Yeah, the kids, they never lost contact. They were still best friends. Messages and pictures. And Ty's birthday was the 14th. They sung her a telegram for her birthday. Good memories. Had a tea party here at UMES. Different birthday parties, talent show. They were in together. The graduation from Greenwood Elementary School was pretty big. Every day we were like right 2 minutes away. So yeah, we were neighbors. So every day we saw each other.
That's just sad. Him and all his children. Now, a gas generator in the house. Whoa. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just like, whoa. People probably don't know that. That definitely would kick back carbon monoxide. I want to add this to it. Don't be scared to ask for help, you guys, because all these people lined up for the funeral and he didn't have any electricity and had all his children with him. He could have asked for help, but sometimes people are ashamed to ask for help. So he took matters in his own hands and heated the house. Let's look at how gas stoves can cause carbon monoxide. Just a little bit for people that may not know that it is cold. People are trying to stay warm. Things happen. It's something. It's something.
Consumer alert. A Barrington couple's family pets died. They believe their gas oven is to blame. Consumer reporter Susan Hogan poured through complaints nationwide and found dozens of cases where high levels of carbon monoxide were emitted from some gas ovens, enough to set off alarms.
So what does this Consumer Product Safety Commission say about this? Susan joins us with more on what she found. It's a story you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
We found one complaint after another from consumers extremely concerned about their gas ranges emitting high levels of carbon monoxide. Many of these complaints detailing similar experiences with this silent killer.
Without giving it a second thought, we turn on the gas oven or stove almost every day. But we never expect this routine act could be dangerous, even deadly.
All of a sudden I heard a thump on the bottom of the cage. And I noticed one of the birds was dying. Really? And the other one was on the ground already dead.
Susie Natal and her husband Alex had just shut off their gas oven after using it for 2 hours. The couple knew something bad was happening.
I knew it had to be something in the air because both birds couldn't drop dead at the exact same time.
The Natals called the gas company and the fire department. Both came out and tested the air for carbon monoxide. The results, 115 parts per million inside their kitchen. 2 other technicians sent out by the store where the Natals purchased their stove got readings of 150 and even 190 ppms. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, carbon monoxide levels in a home above 70 can cause symptoms, including headaches, fever, and nausea. And sustained CO levels above 150 can cause disorientation, unconsciousness, and death. Call 12 for Action did some digging and uncovered several complaints on saferproducts.gov and many similarities regarding various gas ovens. Like this one. During the preheating phase, it set off the CO detector. Here's another. Consumer was self-cleaning oven when the carbon monoxide detector went off. And this oven was leaking carbon monoxide. Firemen shut off the gas.
This year, in 2014, we've had 58 calls for CO-related incidents.
Chief Bissett with the Barrington Fire Department says the carbon monoxide levels his first responders got at the Natal's house were startling.
We felt that the stove was giving off way too high of a level of concentration of CO, so we asked them to stop using that stove.
The oven manufacturer sent out its own technician to conduct a carbon monoxide test. In a statement, Electrolux tells Eyewitness News that the Natal stove was working well within the safety requirements, although they wouldn't tell us what they were. But as a gesture of goodwill, the company did refund the Natals the purchase price of their oven.
Call 12 for Action contacted the Consumer Product Safety Commission and asked them about all of these complaints regarding carbon.
So yeah, so like she's just turned her oven on. 2 hours, the bird was inhaling carbon monoxide, and gas. It can happen, Wow, I'm scared of the furnace. When I was little and the furnace was off, we used our propane stove to heat us kids, but never overnight. Yeah. I'm scared of the furnace. I am so scared of the furnace and lighting a pilot light. I have an electric stove now because I was so scared of the gas stove when we had it. Even though, old school, you like to cook over gas a lot better, right? But yeah, this is sad. I hope they get the apartments together. This is really heartbreaking. I just want to share that story. And yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. Um and prayers to everybody over there. It to be over in a situation where you have your kids, asthma, the weather affects asthma, things of that nature, and you're paying your rent or whatever it may be, if you're paying or not paying, the landlord does not provide the heat, does not make sure your heat is on. That's very, very sad. And yes, using your plugging up all those heaters in your house will raise your electric bill. Her electric bill went up like 100 and something percent, 175%, plugging up all that electric. Also, I was reading the comments down there, and instead in the comments on that video, y'all, they were so mean. They were like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be low income and all that stuff." I'm like, why are people so mean? My goodness. Child, speaking of mean, let's go to Thornton Township and Dalton for 5 seconds. Hit the like button. I didn't even put it in the title because I figured that the people that don't want, the people that's like birds not covering Dalton, they will be dissuaded over here. Okay, so let's go to what's going on in Thornton Township right quick today. We have 2 meetings. I wanted to you laugh conscious. I was like, yeah, what Don Core say? Y'all can have that, baby. Y'all can. I gotta put that on my soundboard. Y'all can have that, baby. You can have that. No, y'all just stay over there. Okay, so but for people that want to be informed, today is a special meeting. I want to play um a video from Choose Compassion, and you know what? I agree with what Choose is saying in this video. Let's go to it. Um, sorry guys, I thought I had it pulled up. There you go. Yeah, yeah. It's so sad. And can you imagine? He just wanted to do it himself, wanted to do everything himself. Y'all don't be scared to ask for some help. Ask for some help because that was really sad. The electricity went out, and he had all his children with him, and he just So let's go to Choose Compassion video. Let me put her in the link. Um, Sorry, I forgot the capital O's. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. And let's watch her video about the Thornton Township fact check. I didn't even get to the article that Melanie did today. We'll go to the Lancet Journal next. And that's it. Let's get to it.
Good evening, depending on when and where you're watching it. Your girl Choose, otherwise known as CM Passion. I am just here today. Let's discuss the Thornton Township and what's going on. Shout out to Melanie from the Lansing Journal. She had some questions, and I think we got at least a few answers. So the questions are, when did the insurance lapse? Which insurance? What is the usual process for renewing insurance, and what prevented that? Well, Melanie, I think we have an answer. So, as we can see, December 17th, all of this is up or was up for a vote. Several items were up, but the question was, what happened? This is what happened. Lack of quorum on the 5th, lack of quorum on the 17th. So the trustees are the ones that prevented that. Another question was, what is the usual process? Well, we looked back at some notes from when Frank Zuccarelli was a supervisor, and it looks like the usual process for renewing insurance is to have a board vote. And the next document shows that coverage was set to expire on 12/1/24.
Trustee Carmen Carlisle today saying, quote, "The situation is not about trustees failing to attend meetings. It is about the supervisor's failure to lead with transparency, accountability, and sound management of township resources. The residents of Thornton Township deserve better than excuses and blame shifting." Carlisle saying Henyard had an option to auto-renew the insurance coverage, but chose not to act.
I'd like to clarify that. Did Supervisor Henyard have an option to auto-renew, or was it up to the board to vote to pass insurance? Well, unless something changed, looking directly at this agenda, it says new business, approved Thornton Township property and casualty insurance. Question, did the board have to vote on it? Let's see. Based on this Thornton Township agenda, it looks as if Supervisor Zuccarelli entertained the same motion that Supervisor Henyard is entertaining now to renew the insurance. Did the board need to vote? And who voted yes? Supervisor Zuccarelli, Trustee Jones, and Gonzalez. So why would we sit here and entertain the fact that the trustees do not have to vote for insurance? Did something change? Even though Delgado stepped in, an actual attorney, to say a board vote is required, you won't even believe the attorney. So that's alarming. And then, because you all don't like Keith Price, you don't look at all of these emails between the trustees and Carmen and the insurance company and even the lawyers to say, hey, we need a vote. All you have to do is go back to the minutes to see whether a vote is needed. But no one bothered to look at these documents. Which insurance was approved? I believe at the December 20th meeting, it was the cyber insurance. Yes, fact check done. So on the 20th of December, they chose to renew the cybercrime coverage, the crime coverage, as well as the extended cyber insurance, but they failed to vote on the regular insurance. Next fact check question is, why is another vote needed if the forensic audit was approved? Well, if you look at the December 17th meeting, there it is, number 6. But, however, on December 17th, once again, there was a lack of a quorum. And And as we move right into the December 30th meeting, which is another special township meeting, looks like called by the Board of Trustees. So I don't know why they would not be able to attend. This does not say that it is a special meeting called by the supervisor, but here we go again. The audit is on here. The renewal of insurance is on here, and the trustees did not show up. It doesn't matter why, because this was their meeting, right? So it behooves me when we talk about whether or not the trustees have to miss 5 consecutive meetings, not special meetings, because if they're calling special meetings and then not showing up, that's playing in the residents' faces. And frankly, to call all of these special meetings just to end up having a meeting on January 6th of 2025 to do what has been on at least 3 previous board meeting agendas is shameful. So were you lying then or were you lying now? Did you know you had to vote then or did you know you have to vote now? Are you all going to vote tomorrow? Because that's going to be very interesting, and that's going to really show that it was indeed the trustees that do not care about any of the services and stopping the township. On the other hand, if they come tomorrow and they don't have to vote and everything just gets approved, then we know it was Tiffany. Well, I guess we'll wait till January 6th. Until next time, sending love and light.
You know, several states across the nation are experiencing major.
Okay. So what do you guys think about that? Okay, let's go to the Lancet Journal right quick. Um, this is how I feel about it. Okay, if we go to the beginning, it would be hold on guys, let me bring up the Lancet Journal. When we go to the beginning, it would be that okay. Today look okay. Let me see. Okay. Oh, Gardis, we got an article from Gardis in here. We're gonna read this. Um, so if we go to the beginning, let's just talk turkey right quick before we get to Gardis article. Um, let's talk turkey. Okay, let's just be fully transparent. We know that the trustees do not want Tiffany to appoint that seat. We know that, right? This is the whole issue. I say Tiffany only got 5 months in there. I'm not a politician. Go ahead, go ahead and let the people go ahead and accept Jerry Jones' resignation. Let the people make a decision. 9 times out of 10, the decision is gonna be Stephanie, unless somebody else step up, like Mr. Rayburn. He threw his hat in the ring. I'm gonna get to that article too. But let's just move forward, right? Let's move forward. Other because we only got 5 months, right? Let's just move forward. Now, when it goes back to that infamous meeting that happened on the 20th, it's like, okay, Tiffany said all bills or no bills. I say just push through some bills. Let's call it a day. Revisit the other bills later. I do know that people will be upset because their name is not on the list to get paid. But right now, some is better than none. That's me. I don't know what happens in the back rooms of stuff. This is just what I'm looking at as a resident. I'm just like, just push through some bills. Let's keep moving. When it comes to the trustees, stop acting like you're not doing what you're doing for the reasons you're doing. Does that make sense? But I guess that's politics. Like just let's say it what it is. Hey, we boycotting because we do not want her to appoint this seat, and until we get that resignation, all services stop. And call it what it is. Like it's like we're not silly. We know we can see what it is. Just call it what it is. So now we have a special meeting the same day as the Dalton board meeting, right? And it's like we heard Trustee Carlisle say, well, we can't make it to the meetings when she calls a special meetings because of scheduling. Now, if Tiffany didn't make that meeting today, all heck would break loose. But Tiffany's going to show up to that meeting because that's what she does. And I think that sometimes people get confused, like when they're like, how many meetings did Trustee Stan and Andrew Holmes miss? Those were special meetings called by the Board of Trustees, right? The same thing when you're in Dalton. The same thing over here. How many meetings did Tiffany miss? I think the only meeting we saw her miss, I think it was her birthday. And we kind of called that like she not showing up. But I cannot recall if that was a special board meeting or a regular scheduled board meeting. And that's how we get confused. So the trustees have not missed consecutive board meetings. And then I thought we couldn't get insured. Now it just approved the insurance. It's like all this stuff, it's all this noise is what I want to say, you guys. All this noise is happening because of, it's just noise, and it's happening at the residents' expense. That's my problem. Let's go to Gardis Watts article 2. Hold on one second, guys. I just have to give me 2 seconds. I gotta set something up. I'll be right back. Oh Lord, I gotta read it. Gardis, I hope not. It's like you can't say anything. You already know that. Okay, give me 2 seconds, you guys. Let me just pull this up. I just have to adjust something right quick. Just gonna 1 second. Get some business. It's Monday. Y'all getting y'all business done? Y'all getting your business done. Write down your top 3 to do this week. Top 3 things you can do and get them done. Okay. All right. So the Lansing Journal, local voices, the unaccountability machine, how a lack of political awareness leads to a lack of accountability. Submitted by Gardis Watts. The Gardis Watts. There are 2 things I see wrong in contemporary American politics. The first issue is a lack of political awareness. Not just, am I on? Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Not just understanding the common function of how government works, but the historical view of how our current situation is caused by events that happened in the past. This leads to the second issue. Sorry, guys. Hold on. This did not adjust well. I got on my bifocals. Okay. This leads to the second issue, and probably the biggest, the lack of accountability from the people. We vote people into office without considering their record. We refuse to evaluate their ability to even execute the duties of the office. We mainly vote by popularity and choose the lesser of 2 evils. These issues plague global and national politics. Unfortunately, the local politics of the Southland is not immune to this epidemic. For nearly 3 years, Thornton Township has spiraled into political turmoil with the passing of longtime supervisor Frank Zuccarelli and the appointment of Tiffany Henyard in March of 2022. The township has not seen this much attention in quite some time. With most of it being negative, the focus has been mostly on Henyard. Henyard, who is also the mayor of Dalton, has been accused of several unethical decisions and possible charges of corruption. These charges not only apply to her role as supervisor, but as the mayor of Dalton as well. Henyard comes from a long line of problematic politicians that has plagued the village of Dalton for nearly 3 decades. The last 3 decades saw several politicians in the village mismanage the resources of the town. The political career of Hinyard started in 2013 when she was elected trustee under then Mayor Riley Rogers. While both Hinyard and Rogers seemed like ideal politicians at the time, they unfortunately set back the village during their time in office. Marred by infighting and several economic decisions that almost led them to the verge of bankruptcy, Hinyard was part of a government that failed to progress. That's true. That that's true. That's true. During Tiffany Hinyard's time as a Dalton trustee, many issues of the village were blamed on Rogers. This gave Hinyard a golden opportunity to make her run for mayor in 2021, which she won. However, this is where the political blind spot comes into play. While Rogers was held accountable for some of the decisions he made as mayor, Hinyard was able to slide under the radar. Her actions as a trustee were overlooked by her supporters. She verbally fought with Rogers and his supporters on the board. Very few saw her as chaotic. Instead of trying to achieve a consensus with the government, she was more antagonistic in her behavior. Hinyard's personal record was also ignored. Public records show she was arrested in 2016 for criminal trespass. In 2019, CBS 2 uncovered an investigation where Hinyard severely neglected a property she owned and leased to a Section 8 renter. These things are just a few examples of how none of this was considered with the voters. Her supporters during that time pushed her to the front despite her questionable past. Hinyard's appointment to supervisor of the township also comes with a lack of political awareness. Trustee Chris Gonzalez was the one who nominated Tiffany Hinyard and voted for her along with Trustee Darlene Gray Everett and Jerry Jones. When the Lancet Journal interviewed Gonzalez on March 12, 2024 about why he nominated her, Gonzalez responded with his reason of her being young and a woman. He admitted he did not know about the conflict she was having with the board in Dalton. Gonzalez's failure to vet Tiffany is an example of his disregard for protecting the interests of the township, sorry guys. Even though he would minimize it as a mistake, it is one that the township is paying for. Very true. While many who support his efforts for re-election would forgive him because he stands against the supervisor now, their lack of holding him accountable for his pivotal actions demonstrates the lack of political awareness among the people. Mayor Michael Bolandic lost his re-election bid for mayor in Chicago in 1979 because of a mistake he made of not deploying enough snowplows during a huge blizzard earlier that year. Several political analysts, sorry guys, got tongue-tied, contributed Donald Trump's failure to be reelected in 2020 because of the mistakes he made in his handling of the COVID-19 outbreak. These are a few examples of how the voters felt about a mistake. These type of mistakes cost thousands of lives and billions of dollars. Those who have ushered Tiffany Hinyard into her executive positions at the village and the township have cost both municipalities several millions of dollars in utter chaos. If we're to hold Tiffany Hinyard accountable, let us hold those people who helped her, both past and present, responsible for this mayhem. Gardis Watts, 20-year resident of South Holland and former senior systems administrator for Thornton Township. Thanks, Gardis. Oh, Lord, let's look at the comments, Gardis. Okay, Keisha says, wow, Gonzalez was willing to give Hinyard a chance. When you vote, it is a chance you take because you will never know what a person will do once they take office. Look at Trump with his 34 felonies, about to take office again, and he is getting a second chance run in the USA. So no, it's not all on Gonzalez, and he has owned his mistakes publicly. It's Tiffany Hinyard's fault for allowing her power to go to her head and being a poor leader with no apologies. Perhaps she bit off a little more than she could chew. Bill says, so according to Gonzalez, he nominated Hinyard as a DEI hire, not because she was qualified. So here's where the problem starts. Nobody should get a job because of their race or gender. The most qualified should, and yes, Gonzalez should be held accountable. Trump saved lives during the pandemic, going against Democrats, and Fauci for closing our border to China. He did everything humanly possible. He lost the election in 2020 because, amazingly, 20 million more people voted than ever before any election, past or present, and all for Biden. Saying he mishandled the pandemic is nothing more than your opinion. Overall, this article has some good information. However, some of it is clear political bias. Okay. Thank you for the article, Gardis. Okay, let's and Katya says excellent. Katya said, why didn't they give it to the people to vote? Yeah, that's a good question, Conscious. And I'm going to go over some clips. Now, when I go over these clips, I'm not saying I always, well, it don't matter what you say. It don't matter what you say. They're going to believe whatever. But I want to go over okay, let's just go over it step by step and come up with our own decision when it comes to Chris Gonzalez. Now, this is the thing. The whole thing to do with Dalton politics and Thornton Township, they're going to forgive who they want to forgive and then push that on the people. And then a lot of people are on the outside. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Chris nominating Tiffany is okay? Chris coming over after he nominated Tiffany, he came over and sat on the board of the Fire and Police Commission, right? In Dalton immediately. Is that okay? He voted yes for I think the first year. Then things started to fall apart. He went to Vegas on that first trip, not the second trip, not the trip that everyone that poor stuff happened. But he went the first time. Is that okay? Now, is it okay once you do what the people want you to do? That's all I'm asking. So the same with Keith Freeman. Is okay for Keith now? Is it okay? Okay. So Gardis says, for Bill's comment, I said several political analysis and not my opinion. That's right, you did, Gardis. I think it was crazy because I did a video as well when I said, oh, I didn't catch that. I was so stuck on that Chris only nominated Tiffany. I didn't catch that technically Cassandra Elston went up 3 times and he nominated her all 3. Solid 2 went through, but she didn't get a vote. Like, she didn't get the support of the board, and that's who Frank Zuccarelli, if you look at some of the videos I did, talk about Miss Elston, our assessor. Man, we wouldn't be in this pickle if they would have made the right choice. Even if they would have gave the vote to the people in that room, do you think the people sitting in that room would have voted for Tiffany? Did you see the reaction Tiffany got when she got all 3 votes? Did you see? I don't think so. I think, again, Miss Elston, if they would have left the vote to the people, I think we wouldn't even be in this situation. Sort of what they're trying to do now, but they appointed Carmen, they appointed Tiffany, and took the voice away from the people. Now, I think the only conflict of interest I have is that the same group of people, just look at the meetings. You could take a look. It's a big group, and they're the same group of people that will vote on who Tiffany placed in office. So it still will be taken away from the people, technically. It's still going to be taken away from the people because it's that same group. You know what I mean? A lot of people are scared to come out. All that people don't want their grandmothers and grandfathers coming out to that mess. And I just think it's a holdup for the township. That's my personal opinion on that. So let's just go down memory lane and you make your own decision. Make your own decision on what's going on. And I hope more people throw their hat in the ring. So, and more people come to vote. I hope the vote goes to the people. Like I told you guys, I don't have I don't I think what's her name? Stephanie has been at the township for the longest. She has the most knowledge about the township, and I hope she'll do the best for the township. Mr. Rayburn, let me go to that article first. He said something that I didn't think about. I just thought about, Stephanie's history in the township, right? That's all I thought about. She's the most knowledgeable. I say go ahead. I don't have a problem with it. I think she'll do the right thing. But Mr. Rayburn, he actually did an interview with the Lansing Journal, and he said he thinks Stephanie's a wonderful person. He said she's a wonderful person. If she gets the seat, no one will support her more than I will, said Mr. Rayburn, who added that he spoke with Wiedemann at the electoral board hearing and told her he disagreed with two things he read in the article that was submitted to the Lansing Journal. He said while Wiedemann listed among her qualifications her longtime ties to local politics and her work with former township supervisor Frank Ziccarelli, she hasn't been around half as long as I've been around, he said. Can I say this? And I don't know if he meant politics, but I took it as age. I'm so sick of people throwing age in there. Like they be like little girl or look like just you're my child age. Y'all get off of that. Get off of that. And I'm not saying that's what Mr. Rayburn is saying, but I hear enough of that. Like it's not Stephanie's fault that she the age she is. Okay, blame her parents. But as a Dalton resident, Rayburn is a licensed insurance producer, also known as an agent or broker in the state of Illinois. He has been married for 46 years and said he has always been involved in the community. In 2013, Rayburn ran to replace Jesse Jackson Jr., okay? And he lost to Robin Kelly. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. I want to say, oh, this is the quote I want to read. Also, I really don't believe, Stephanie, that the animosity you have for Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, you could get around it and make decisions that are totally unbiased. He believes it will end up hurting the township. I think it's going to be a lot of more fighting, because it's going to be a pull between Stephanie and the supervisor. I didn't even think about that. I really didn't even think about that. I don't know. But if Tiffany I always like to do both sides. If Tiffany puts somebody there, it's going to be a lot of fighting amongst that. It just, y'all want this election to come and go. I want it to go. Okay. So it says he ran to replace Jesse Jackson Jr., who resigned his seat as U.S. Representative for the Illinois 2nd Congressional District. Rayburn lost to Robert Kelly. He had two more unsuccessful bids for the seat in 2014 and 2016, both years when incumbent Kelly far outpaced all her competitors. Okay. So yeah, just you guys read and get stuff together for yourself and your household, because that's all that matters. Because right now it's a huge fight for the seat. Only thing I don't like about like the candidates, it's just too many Dalton people. It's just too many Dalton people that would be sitting on the, and I'm not against it, but it's just weird to have that many 17 municipalities, and just to think we could have 3 people from Dalton sitting up there. How many from Dalton is sitting up there now? Is Jerry Jones? I think is he from South Highland? But he used to be from Dalton. I don't know where Trustee Darlene is. Tiffany, Dalton. Who else we got? Clerk Wells is Phoenix. Who else we're missing? Chris is Calumet City. I just think it's too many. Let's get somebody from Blue Island, somebody from Lansing, someone from Homewood, someone just let's mix it up for the, you know what I mean? Someone from the city of Thornton or the village of Thornton. It's just just too many Dalton people in one space for me. And I that sounds weird coming from somebody, but it's just too many. It's just too many. And I just think that's a lot. No matter who wins, it's just too many. Okay, let's go to hit the like button. Y'all, it's quiet. Yay. The plan worked. 24 people in the chat. The plan worked. Please. Ooh. Oh, I didn't feel like arguing this morning. I did not feel like arguing this morning. Ooh, just no. We not to, hey, no apologies. Somebody from Harvey, somebody just, it's just too many Dalton people sitting there all at once. And it'd just be as biased as if Tiffany was sitting up there as the supervisor. You know, it's just too many. Okay, let's go to, now this is not what I'm saying. Yeah, look, conscious laugh. No, y'all can have what dog have to say. You can have that. No, y'all can have that, baby. You can have that. I don't need that. I don't like all that energy. I think we should be kind to one another. I think we should support one another. I don't think we should be doing all that stuff. So let's start at the beginning. Now, I don't have a problem with Doncor. I always have to say that. I'm only playing what people are saying out their mouth. This is not Burgundy Blue saying this. Burgundy Blue did not say they were going to put Doncor head on a spike if he didn't say this. This is me interviewing him, and I want to go piece by piece regarding Chris Gonzalez for people who might want a little history. All right, let's go to that.
Any more members there? Should I put my name up? Yes, yeah. I didn't think about it because I had all the voters there. I had Jerry, I had Joyce.
So if you don't know who Doncor Parker is, he was the one with Tiffany Henyard that night she was appointed. Was it 7 minutes before midnight? So this is his story where we're talking about it here. Scott, I'm sorry. Scott, you already know. Scott said you don't want 40 or 60 emails sent to you. I don't understand it. I hate when I don't understand it. And I tell everybody, you do not control my channel. I control my channel. So I would rather 20 viewers versus 100 viewers, and I got to do what you say. What you want me to say, no. Or hide what you don't want me to say. No, go ahead. Let's do this. Hey, Daves, what you doing? Who wants to hear about history, Bird? Nobody wants to hear the old stuff. Stop living in the past and move on. You right. You right. Okay. So this was rally at the township. This was Mary Avant's event, and I was there covering it. And I ran into Doncor, and I took the chance to interview him because I wanted to know, man, you were there that night. Do you still work for the township? What is going on? Because at this point, I'm hearing just all this stuff about Tiffany Henyard and all these people getting fired. And I'm like, what? Miss Sandra Tracy is still on my heart. I'm mad about that. I want to know more. How was everybody cool and got her in there? Then all of a sudden, she was like, Pink Slip City going through, right? So let's keep going. And I was asking him why he didn't put his name in there because, of course, Doncor, I really think Doncor could have threw his name in there and at least got a second. Especially with Chris up there. Who else would have probably gave him another vote? Maybe Darlene. Or Jerry. No, he would have had, no, he might have got 3 votes. It was a toss-up between Jerry and Darlene. Doncor's been there for a long time, and he was like Zuccarelli's right hand. So I don't know how Tiffany, maybe because Doncor wasn't in politics technically, I don't know. I think he could have threw his name out there.
Brittany? I didn't see Brittany. I know she's here.
Parker. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Always a pleasure. You ready? You ready?
You want to do an interview with me?
Absolutely.
Okay, so me and Doctor, we go way back. Okay, we're going to get Doctor Parker. So, Doctor, what brought you out here? Look, wait, and you know I'm Burgundy. You can't say my government. You know my real name.
And if you guys didn't know, excuse my comb over there. It was windy that day. But if you didn't know, Don Core knew who I was. So it was, and I adore Don Core. His wife is absolutely beautiful inside and out. And yeah, his whole family. So it was really good to see him. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he would have called out my real name. You know, the name y'all docs on the internet now to this day anyway, but okay.
Sorry, Craig.
What made you out here, Don Core?
Great day. I can bring back Burgundy Township the way it was back in the day, where the residents did well. Leadership of Frank Sorelli. We want to bring those things back. We're going to make Georgia Township Frank Sorelli again, and this is the first step. Rally and getting together, organize, and getting everybody ready to vote. Most important, make sure everybody knows what time it is, and we can't wait till the last minute. Like the young man said, we want to make sure we have the right candidates right out front right away, because we don't want the lesser two evils, which is happening a lot in today's time in politics. We want to put the person we want there, and the ultimately are going to put Jason House there as the mayor, who's going to do a great job. And we're looking at some other things throughout Georgia Township to replace some people. But right now, our number one focus is Georgia Township and getting our township back.
Yeah. Doctor, can I ask you a question? I'm going to move over here because it's a little loud. They can't hear you. So we're going to move over so y'all can hear. Okay, so feel free not to answer this question, but I wanted to know I've known you to be in Thornton Township for years. What made you not want to run yourself, like as Zuccarelli protege, sort of?
I get that question all the time. Let's be honest, if they were going to give it to someone so novice who did not have the experience that I had, maybe I should have. And of course, it's all about putting the right people around you. I would have put the right people around me to make sure Thornton Township would have stayed on the right track. I mean, we've been township for the years forever. To come in and change anything was not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
I should have put myself in that seat, but because it was Uncle Frankie, I never seen me as him because of the level of respect I have for him. But when it comes down to knowing what to do, Stephanie Wiedemann, Tim Williams, Ryan Ghani, and myself, we were there with Frank Sorelli from the beginning of time, and we were actually groomed to do it.
Yeah.
But the tragic death of him kind of took me off my political square for a long time.
Yeah, I can understand because I remember as youth.
So he was saying the death of Frank took him off his political square. I guess he just stopped doing what he was doing. Now, if you didn't know, and this is researchable in the the Village of Dalton YouTube page, Don Core was the one that, remember when the trustees had to have a meeting outside the Village Hall? He was back in Tiffany, and Jason and Ed, Steve, and everybody was outside, and then maybe I'll do a compilation for you. But he was like, hey, y'all pushing Riley agenda because, of course, political history a little bit from, everyone saying Frank and Riley Rogers really didn't get along and see eye to eye. And who came out of Riley Rogers' camp? Jason House at that time. But Tiffany was Z-Team, So let's listen. Hey, Wyoming.
You were out there at the park helping the youth. I remember, I think you did the grass. You were over the grass cutting at one point.
I was one of the first people. In fact, I was in ZAP 1 when the ZAP program started almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to always say this. I don't think Tiffany should have changed the name of ZAP to HAP. I just don't understand why I just couldn't stay ZAP as a tribute. I just don't get that. Now that's one of the things I just be shaking my head at, that just wasn't a good idea to change ZAP. That was something Frank started. It should have stayed ZAP. Now when Tiffany don't take office, if it turned to, I guess it'll be HAP still, because it'll be Harris if he take office, or Cap if Clark take office, or nap if Richard Nolan takes. I ain't. Let's just stop. And we all know if Tiffany gets back in and get married to Kamal, it will be WAP.
The first team leaders was a pilot program. It grew to being one of the most fruitful programs in the state of Illinois. They hire up to almost 100 kids a year. I don't know if those numbers are still the same, but we were getting kids off the streets, and it was really a great program. Yes, I was a pioneer in that.
Yeah.
A lot of different things. Of course, I was a Thornridge football coach, wrestling coach at Thornwood, so I always knew the youth direct. I knew what they needed. I was with them firsthand. So we created a program that we actually adopted from Kankakee.
Yeah.
To keep kids off the streets. And so yes, I've been in Thornton Township for a long time.
One more question, Don Cor. What made you be there? Why were you there with Tiffany, if you don't mind, 7 minutes before they? What made you be there to support her? Like, why was you the back that held her together?
Well, it came down to this. We had some outside people wanting to see. And I felt like our family should get first dibs at the table for the food.
Okay.
Tiffany was not in the royal family, but she was like a super step cousin. So was she part of the family? Yes. So I thought we should bring someone in that was part of the family that wasn't a newcomer, and someone who would really kind of do things that we were already doing, at least we thought.
Yeah.
And so that was the reason that I was there with her.
Yeah.
She was doing a terrible job as the mayor already in Dalton, so that wasn't the perfect person, no. It was just the fact that she was the last one that was there that was part of our family. Stan Brown went up, he didn't get a second. Cassandra didn't get what we wanted her to have. Uncle Jerry didn't get what he wanted, so it was getting out of our hands. We didn't have any more members there. Should I put my name up? Yes, I didn't think about it because I had all the voters there. I had Jerry, I had Joyce, and Chris has been my buddy forever, and I work with Chris. In fact, I still work with Chris.
Yeah.
So I had the votes. I didn't think about it, and I thought that, it was just too big for me because it was Uncle Franklin's seat, and I didn't want to seem like I was mocking him.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, I did have them.
Yeah, he might, because you have a lot of influence when you nominate people. People follow you, they go with the vote. So that's what I was just always wondering why you didn't go up yourself. Now, are you thinking about trustee possibly?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be running for trustee in this election. I have a lot of pastors that already asked me to run, a lot of different people that are asking me to run.
Don Court, well, I don't think he'd go against Stephanie, but I was saying he really could nominate. He could nominate himself if the voting go public, right? Just thinking, but then that would be him going against Stephanie, and they're both. I keep on saying Z team. I guess it's no more Z team technically, but I think they still have that relationship. And yeah, did you notice? Don Court said, I work with Chris. I never noticed that. And he's speaking of Chris Gonzalez. That's interesting to know because if we go to the night of the appointment and if we go to the Lansing Journal article, right? With Chris Gonzalez, he said, "Well, I didn't know much about her. I didn't know much about her. What would make Tiffany's name come up if he didn't know much about her? Like again, I don't know what went on in the back room, who threw her name out there, but this is just interesting to follow this timeline of what could happen, what did happen, not what did happen. This is very interesting to see. Like, so if he didn't know much about her, why nominate her? And we're gonna just play that part. Then we're gonna go to, and you hear the people in the audience. You hear people in the audience say, "Hey, you're making a mockery out of this." So back to Tiffany. This is why this channel has to be both sides. I really cannot. He said, Don Court says himself, she was doing a horrible job as a mayor already. Why bring her to the township? I have no idea. And why couldn't he put that bug in Chris' ear that says, "Hey, she's doing a terrible job over here. Make sure her name stay out the way." I don't know. We're just here following the story. So this is interesting that someone that was already doing a terrible job was able to get here. And then she gets there and gets rid of all the people that supported her, like Nate Fields, Doncor Parker. I just don't know. And then bring the people that she's friendly with, like what's his name? Don't Pray for Me No More, and Andrew Holmes and Stan Brown. She brings them over there to support her. Again, too many Dalton people in the township, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. It's no way you could put your finger on everything, because it seems like a lot of people, I don't know. I just don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let's look at that appointment that night.
DC supporting Tiffany Henyard at the next meeting. So that's interesting. But let's get to the video from the March 1 meeting. 2 nominees were presented, Cassandra Elston and Jerry Jones, and they were presented after a 2-hour closed session. Here's what happened.
Don't go yet.
Nominations are open.
All right, nominations are open. Nominations are open.
I nominate Cassandra Elston, Dalton Township Supervisor.
Have a second? Oh, God.
Yeah, I second.
Still second. Nominations are still open.
I nominate Jerry Jones.
No, not yet. We're waiting for a second.
Dad on the floor, have a second.
Do we have a second for the nomination, our first nomination?
I want to say something about this video. I see a lot of people online. They don't know because they're not here, but they always say, "Oh, Miss Joyce Washington was tipsy and stuff like that." She was sick at that time, and she passed right a few months later after this. So I think she had cancer, but I know she was super sick at this time. So I know a lot of people don't know. They be like, "Oh, that lady was tipsy or something." No, she was seriously ill.
For Cassandra Elston. There is no second. Nomination fails. Nominations are open. Do we have another nomination?
I nominate Jerry Jones.
Do we have a second?
Y'all got to be kidding me.
I second that nomination.
Do we have a second? There will be a vote.
Yeah, there's a vote. Motion second vote. Roll call. Or discussion.
Any discussion?
Call roll.
Roll call. Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
No.
Trustee Gray Everett?
Abstain.
Deputy Supervisor Washington?
No. No. Make the
Deputy Supervisor Washington?
Nominate Jerry Jones. Second.
Yes.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
Second.
Yes, yes.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
Yes.
The 2-1-1 vote.
No one is elected. It fails. We need 3
It fails. Nominations fail.
Y'all got to be kidding
We
me.
have to go back into closed session.
Oh my God. This is crazy. This is really. This is crazy. You might not like the person, but this come on, y'all. This is crazy.
Believe it or not, after those two votes, the board decided to go into a closed session again. That session lasted an hour. And then Deputy Supervisor Washington came out and said that the board was going to recess. This was at 10:30 p.m. on March 1. So the earliest they could reconvene and give 48-hour notice would be March 3 at 10:30 p.m. That's what the attorney is saying at the beginning of this clip.
48 hours notice and 48 hours from now is then. We're stuck with it.
The meeting is over.
We're stuck with it.
We have a continual meeting on Thursday. What date is that? On, March 3rd at 10:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That will be the last meeting of this, this group.
Meeting is in recess.
Sorry, people, we had to stay this long to hear this, but, the meeting is over.
Thanks for wasting my time. I want y'all to know this is sad. This is really sad. Y'all can't conduct the meeting here. What y'all gonna do with us in the public?
So already you get a sense of how dysfunctional this is. In fact, the headline of the article I wrote about that meeting was "Confusion Marks Attempted Appointment of Zuccarelli Replacement." You can see how weary Joyce Washington looks in that clip. And I just got the impression that the board was so used to having Frank Zuccarelli handle everything, they just didn't know.
And you know what's so funny? We have to review this video. Gardis Watts said that way back in like May or April. He said he came on the show and was talking about how, you know, basically they just followed Frank Zuccarelli lead. So this is what's going on here. You can see proof of that.
How to run a meeting without him. Anyway, the March 3 meeting was just as dysfunctional. Again, we don't have video of the entire meeting, but Josh Bootsma and I co-wrote an article that summarized the proceedings, so they are documented. And I'll link to that in the description if you want to read that article. Despite the approaching deadline, the meeting started with a closed session again, about 20 minutes. Trustees came out of that closed session and went through a series of 4 nominations that failed. First, Chris Gonzalez nominated Cassandra Elston. Gonzalez and Darlene Gray Everett voted yes. Jerry Jones and Joyce Washington abstained, so that vote failed. Then Joyce Washington nominated Jerry Jones. Washington and Jones voted yes. Gonzalez and Gray Everett voted no, so that resulted in a tie that Clerk Loretta Wells had to break, and she ultimately voted no, so that nomination failed. Third, Gonzalez nominated Elston again, and this time the nomination was overlooked due to discussion about going into closed session again, so no vote was actually taken. Fourth, Jerry Jones nominated Stan Brown. Yes, that's Stan Brown. And no one seconded, so that didn't go to a vote. By now, it's after 11:30 p.m., and the deadline for the board to make this appointment is midnight, and the board votes to go into another closed session. They come out of closed session at 11:44 p.m., and we go through.
Are you guys listening to this like I am? Why all these closed sessions? What was happening? I mean, I know why, but what? Let's just listen, because now my ears are like open, like, wait a minute, they went to closed session then. Let's see what happened after closed session.
4 more nominations that fail. Jerry Jones nominates Terry Wells and gets voted down. Jerry Jones nominates Napoleon Harris. Yes, that Napoleon Harris. No one seconds that nomination, so it doesn't go to a vote. Chris Gonzalez nominates Cassandra Elston again and gets voted down. Joyce Washington nominates herself and gets voted down. So now we are at 11:48 p.m. The board has to make this decision by midnight if they want to prevent this vote from going to the public. And this is when trustee Chris Gonzalez throws Tiffany Henyard's name into the mix. And that's the video we have.
49.
Y'all, this history is so important because look, 12, it took you days. No, it took months. What was it, 60 days? They didn't come up with anything. Then they had to continue. Now they're still going to midnight. And to prevent it from going to the public, you guys, they didn't want the public to have a vote then at all. They did the same thing with Miss Carmen Carlisle. The public did not have a vote. She just got appointed, Trustee Carlisle. Now, all of a sudden, it's very important for it to go to the public vote. I don't disagree with that. Like I told you guys, I don't see a problem with Stephanie sitting there. I don't, if that's who they want. But I just wish everyone was truthful on why we're really holding up the services for the residents. Just spill the beans. Just be truthful about it. But then that wouldn't be politics, right?
So what was the vote? That's it. Well, 49. I nominate Tiffany Henyard for Township Supervisor.
You all are making a mockery out of this for real. This is not a joke. This is not a joke.
Real bad.
I wonder if I wish the Lansing Journal would have caught who said they're making a mockery out of this. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I wish they could have caught who said that. But y'all, look at the lawyer with the gray suit in between Joyce and Jerry. He's like, I'm turning in my resignation tonight. Look at he like, oh, no, you didn't. No, you did not.
That's a ridiculous. Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett?
Yes.
She already got spirit. And she has to sign the warrant, and then she's got to take the oath in 9 minutes. Let's go. 9 minutes.
Put your hands together for your new township supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
How can she do that?
Y'all can have the mayor, baby. Y'all can have that shit.
That's my favorite saying of the night. Hit the like button, you guys. You can have the mayor, baby. You can have that. That's me. That's why I don't have Dalton Thornton Township in my title today. Y'all can have that. Y'all go over there to them people talking about it. We basically, we're quiet over here. We going under the radar. We fly. So if y'all see any of them posts pop up, Burgundy thinks she's slick. I tried. I tried. Okay. Now, I'm going to say something that's my opinion. Right here, in my opinion, did they discuss that that this was gonna happen in closed session? Now that I'm looking at it, yep. In my opinion, allegedly, this was discussed. If them people don't go through, this who we got, because we can't leave it up to the people. Again, my opinion, right here, does Tiffany owe, and I don't mean in a old Doncor, this is me and my opinion and me thinking, weirdly. Hey, I'm just thinking, like, if I was a fly on the wall, does Tiffany owe Doncor, now that we heard Doncor say, yes, I worked with Chris, does she owe him for that nomination? So if Tiffany was doing such a terrible job in Dalton, how did she get the nomination? How did she get, I feel like they did too. How did Tiffany get that nomination being so terrible in Dalton? Like Doncor said, she wasn't part of the royal family, but she was like a step sister. Now, did the board, now this is Burgundy opinion, did the board think, okay, we got somebody we could control? I think so. Right here, we got somebody. They wasn't going to be able to control Napoleon. They were not going to be able to control Cassandra Elston. They were not. And if she was supervisor, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. That's why they didn't, in my opinion, that is why Cassandra, even though I've showed y'all videos where everyone, including Tiffany, thought that Cassandra should be, knew that when Frank retired, Cassandra Elston was his pick. They didn't even respect Frank's wishes because they wasn't going to be able to control her. Now Tiffany got in here and she got out of control. It's interesting when you look at the history. Okay, now let's go to Chris Gonzalez's explanation. Hold on.
It just wasn't really put back together, basically. So the township already had a mechanism for that. We were already doing it. Yeah. We could start it back up as soon as possible if there really was, if it was just a point of saying, hey, somebody saying, I feel this strongly about mental health, there's a need, then let's do it. I mean, the infrastructure's there, so, just do it. So, to me, that's the first point. Just like I said, then why do we need a referendum initially if everything's basically there?
Right.
That's kind of the first thing.
And there seems to be a record of, I remember it was one of the first board meetings where Supervisor Henyard had become supervisor. One of the first firings was someone in the counseling.
Correct, exactly, yes, definitely.
Y'all, we gotta go over that board meeting about the firings. I'm sorry, I pulled up the wrong video. Let's go to this one. So let's go to 746. This is the nominations. Thanks you guys for being patient with me. Okay, let's listen to what Chris say. We only can go by people's words. I'm always gonna have my opinion, but I'm going by you guys listening to the words that come out their mouth. Just think about it. 12 minutes before they give the vote to the people, they throw someone that was running Dalton terribly name out there. Wrong, right? Before that, first of all, how did Chris get Tiffany? He didn't know her that well. How did he even drum up her? What about Clerk Wells' husband, who's also been on South Suburban Counselor? Why is Napoleon Harris, South Suburban School Board? Why is Napoleon Harris the right person now? And y'all wouldn't even give him a second then. Frank hand-picked Cassandra. If you want to keep the township under Zuccarelli, make the township Zuccarelli again, why y'all didn't even give her a chance? It's so many questions that I'm sorry, I can't just bow down and conform and get in line and march to their drum, because I want to know what happened in these closed sessions. I will never know. We will never know. But here we go.
So, that helps so much.
So let's bring it back in time. We're talking about Tuesday's meeting. Let's bring it all the way back to the beginning of 2022. That is when former Supervisor Frank Zuccarelli passes away, and a void of power exists now at the top of Thornton Township. That results in a series of meetings among trustees, excuse me, where you are tasked with appointing a new supervisor, and if that doesn't happen by a certain time, that's going to go to a town hall where then the public is going to be
correct
appointing the new supervisor. So if I recall, some of those meetings were a little bit contentious among trustees as far as, I remember you suggesting a number of names that were not seconded or not voted through. Some other trustees were suggesting names that were not voted through. So it comes all the way down to 12 minutes before midnight on the legal deadline. This is in March of 2022 now. And it was you who 12 minutes before midnight said, I nominate Tiffany Henyard. And that was the first name that was actually voted for by the rest of the trustees. So then just a handful of minutes before midnight, Tiffany Henyard is sworn in as the supervisor of Thornton Township. Put us in Chris Gonzalez's mind, 12 minutes before midnight. What was your thinking in nominating her after this long process?
I mean, just as a whole, I just felt that I was hoping we could get somebody that was a little bit younger for the role. I felt it was time that we, maybe possibly, and I mean, I wasn't like honed in on that, but
Okay. A little bit younger. Napoleon was young. I think him and Tiffany are same neck and neck, like a couple of years apart.
that a woman. I just thought that would be.
Cassandra was a woman. Okay. But I guess you wanted two combined in one. And I don't think I heard that nomination. I want to be fair. I don't think I heard no one combined with those two things other than Tiffany.
Somebody, that was a little bit younger, a woman. So that's kind of where I was. I'll be honest, I really didn't know at that time a whole lot of the, that there was already some controversy and things like that, a little bit that was going on in Dalton, say. Sure. So I didn't really know about that. And that was also something that, I mean, obviously there, just on the surface, there was a little bit of experience there. She had been a trustee, just became mayor. Kind of a town that you might have had as a base as far as just like, once again, coming from that there might be some experience and things like that there. Yeah. She went straight to Frank's office and, sat in the chair and she just kept basically yelling, what are they going to think now? What are they going to say now? Speaking of the Dalton trustees, because I guess, like I said, there was already a rift and I didn't know that. So I'm thinking I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And then so I went to Keith on the side and I said, what is she talking about? I said, is the board against her in Dalton? And he said, yeah. And I said, who? He's like, everybody. And he was like proud of it. And at that time, I mean, I already was like, what did I do? Like you said, the other part was going to a town hall meeting. And, people have asked, and it wasn't the case that I didn't want the people to, speak their voice. But a town hall meeting is very different than having, a regular election. I think that if it was something where we would have had a regular election, it would have been kind of a whole different mindset for me. Once again, I'm just, speaking for myself. I just saw that, the way a town hall meeting would be set up, that there would just be so much chaos. And I just, unfortunately, had kind of saw that there, it would just possibly be like something that was going to be stuck in the courts and things like that for some time, just because of the way the process goes. It's really kind of an older process.
I see.
But like I said, if it was kind of like a normal general election, that would have, I think that would have been, much smoother and much better, where you're having, outside, say like the county, as they do with other elections.
Same thing's about to happen now. Let's go to the fire and police board. Let's go to that one. Hit the like button. Oh, we don't have to say that. It's only 23 of our people in here.
Mr. Brown? Yes.
Now, this is the Fire and Police Commission Board. As far as I know, Chris Gonzalez is not a resident of Dalton. I don't know if this changed, but this is right after Tiffany got appointed.
Yes. William Flashmore is not here today. Brenda Richardson.
Yes.
Christopher Gonzalez, and I'm Philip Williams.
So we have a quorum. Okay, covered things from the.
Yeah, we covered this.
Okay. With that being said, I'd like a motion to accept the minutes as read from our April the 10th meeting.
Motion to accept.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gonzalez. Is there a second?
A second.
We have a second by Commissioner Brenda. Motion passed. Call the roll.
Stanley Brown.
Yes.
Brenda Richardson.
Yes.
Christopher Gonzalez.
Yes.
Philip Williams. Are you going to talk about who's here from the police department and fire department?
Yes, you can dwell on that, sir.
I want to recognize that the police chief and the fire chief are here, and some other prominent police officials as we go through this process.
Okay, at this time, could everyone here identify themselves?
Sylvester Baker, Inspector.
Welcome.
Dalton Police Department.
Awesome. You with the fire department or the police
department?
Deputy Chief Michelle Staples for the Dalton Police Department.
Welcome.
Fire Chief McCain, Village of Dalton Fire Department.
Thank you.
Chief Collins, Dalton Police Department.
Welcome.
Ray Collins, 14512 Blackstone, Dalton, Illinois, Billy.
And we have Mr. Collins here. He's a longtime resident of the Village of Dalton. And he was really impressed with the way things are going here, and he wanted to be a volunteer, have an ear out, you know, to help support the Police Fire Commission Board. So Ray Collins will be joining us, volunteering whatever needs to be done. He would like to do. He wanted to be a part of it. So thank you and welcome, Mr. Collins, for coming out, being supportive of the Fire Police Commission Board. We getting a chance to get things moving because just what happened was that yesterday had a celebration here, and throughout some of the meetings, I've been getting a lot of good feedback from the residents that they're really impressed about this commission board that's being put in place. We actually was able to hire a couple of new firemen. Kevin Savage and William Rush III. That was a blessing, and residents is really loving it. They really loving waiting for our police department, to step up, and they definitely looking for some greater things that's going on. So it's most appreciative by being a resident in the Village of Dalton that what the police and fire department can do, will do, and want to do. Thank you. With that being said, I'd like to yield the floor over to Inspector Sylvester Baker.
Thank you. Good morning, thank you. I just want to give a status report of the application process. Currently, we have 7 applicants that we brought in, and they've all been fingerprinted. 2 are female, 5 are male, all African American, and we have 5 lateral transfers and 2 academy recruits. And what I'm going to submit to the board is a copy of all the documentation that's required and a copy of the state certification that our laterals have to submit with the application process. And that pretty much concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Inspector. At this time, can we hear from our Deputy Chief?
Good morning.
I want to play that because you'll see 2 people names in this video, one being our deputy chief. You saw what she went through this year, and the other person being Chris Gonzalez. Now, I want to go to the town hall meeting. Let's play Don Core first, where he started to approach the township, to approach Tiffany and everyone sitting on the board. And this comes from the Lansing Journal. And then the second thing we'll do is when Michael Smith stood up at the township meeting as well. And like I said, while I'm pulling this up, I don't have a problem with them I just wish everybody would just say what it is so the residents wouldn't be hurt. I just wish they would just say what the heck it is they want so the residents wouldn't be hurt. I have no problem with Stephanie jumping into the seat. If y'all ask me a choice between Stephanie and Michael Smith, if y'all think that Tiffany would appoint him, I would definitely say Stephanie. Let's go.
16245 State Street, South Holland, Illinois. I'm a 20-year Thornton Township employee. First of all, in this very building, Barack Obama stood here. And one thing we never stood here under Frank is race. Black, white, Asian, or Latin, we all got along. So no disrespect to UTO, but we don't do that here. This is our house. And first of all, we understand one thing. When you're doing wrong, you need to get corrected. So I only have one question, Ms. Darlene Gray. Do you think that the board is doing a good job right now? Frank told me to ask you that.
You asked me a question, I'm gonna give you an answer. First of all, I sat with Frank for 30 years. I worked with Frank with his first election. So don't tell me about the 30 years he sit here and the people that I worked in the cold for to see that they had jobs here. I am ashamed. You know what? You hire people to do their jobs. And those people are
Make it clear what you're ashamed of.
No, you not there. First of all,
what should you be ashamed of me for? You're sitting here and you were elected by us, the Z team, and you know what we stand for. You're not displaying that, and you know it.
What is the Z team standing for? Tell me this. You tell me.
And Tiffany, you're doing such a good job. No one can contest to you. Frank can't anything close to you. I mean, Frank never had his name in the paper as many times as you. He's never been on TV as much as you. I mean, he can't even compare to you. Back to you.
All right. Okay, trustee.
Answer the question. You're tap dancing out the back door. The question is, do you think that you guys are doing a good job?
You can finish your comment, Go ahead.
Darlene, with all due respect, my love for you will never change, but you know where we come from and you know what we stand for, and you're not displaying that. And if I did something wrong, as a young man, you guys would chastise me. I've been with you all for 20 years, and you guys know better. And look at Pepe over there not saying a word. We ain't gonna mess with Pepe, but one alone stand 1,000 strong. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. When you see something, say something. It's not just a slogan.
You know what? I didn't have it handy. I was trying to find the end of the meeting. I don't think I have it handy, but at the end of the meeting, that's when Michael Smith got up. I'm gonna have to do a separate video. I didn't prepare for that, but I'll give you what happened. I can always provide the receipts. So Michael Smith got up and he was yelling at Chris. He was yelling at Stephanie, and he asked the question, "Did you go to Las Vegas?" And Chris said, "No, I didn't. I didn't." He's like, "Did you go to Las Vegas?" And Chris was like, "The first time, not the second time." I was like, "Okay." So a lot of things just happened. No, so he didn't go on that trip with the controversy that happened in Vegas this time, but he went before on a trip. And you know what? I must say this as someone I don't know why they were going to an economics trip for that reason. I don't know for Thornton Township. I have no idea, so I don't understand. But yeah, it was a lot of perks in bringing Tiffany Henyard, and I'm sure Tiffany Henyard showed a lot of favoritism to Chris at the time. Does that mean that now Chris can say, "Hey, you know what? I changed my mind"? Okay, well, that's fine. But does that mean that erases history? No. And you know how I'm here to tell you? Y'all was talking about I got evicted every year on the internet. Not comparing myself to Chris. Let's say that was me getting evicted twice in December of 2023 and y'all put it out there or anything like that. Why? So now that I'm living good, because now you went from I was getting evicted twice a year in 2023 to now Tiffany gave me all these houses that I have in my name. Okay. Uh, it doesn't make sense. But if I progressed in life, if y'all are saying that, which is not true, either statement, if y'all are saying that and I progressed in life, why wouldn't my past be erased? Just asking. So we're seeing in this culture of Dalton politics, no one's past can be erased. Let's go back to the politics of it all. Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard was doing terrible in Dalton. Obviously, you guys thought she'd give her another chance and thought she'd do better in Dalton, in Thornton Township, right? She'll do a better job. You weren't listening to the history of Miss Cassandra Elston when we're sitting right here with Frank Zuccarelli said when Tiffany out her mouth said, and other people, all the history, just go to Thornton Township. When they said, hey, Cassandra's supposed to be the next supervisor. Frank really wanted that. Y'all totally ignored it. Totally ignored it. And just went with who you wanted to go with. So history, you guys play favoritism in history. You were drilling Carmen in the ground. I mean, they were coming for Carmen so bad. This channel was standing up for Carmen. She's a waitress, and Tiffany appointed her. Y'all drugged this woman until she did what you wanted her to do. Now she did what you wanted to do. Oh, give Carmen a chance. It doesn't work like that. But I guess it works that way in politics. Some people past matter. Some people past don't. So you guys are in control of the, I guess that would be the narrative of what you want people to look at. And we only can put Chris Gonzalez past out there when it comes to the goodness of the township. You got Stubbs. The people didn't reelect her here in Dalton. The people didn't reelect her. You could see the board meetings to see how she was as a trustee. Now she must be trustee over in Thornton Township. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's crazy. It's crazy what you allow through. People are charged with being registered, was it registered sex offender? Under Tiffany, you guys were hot. Hot when they were working for Tiffany. Now, he paid his dues. It's okay. He paid his dues. He paid his debt to society when he was under Tiffany. So what makes it different now that he's Team Jason? What's the difference? You didn't let that man live when he was working for Tiffany. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? And anybody with an opinion gets shot down if you don't go with their opinion. We only go with what comes out of people's mouths. Never elected. Gotta say, if I would have known what would have happened months after this, I would have stayed home. Me too. I would, you know what? It was, it's interesting to see, how things are playing out. I cannot wait to do a video on, Lord willing, who all got positions that were part of the good fight. Who all got jobs and positions. I just would like to replay that. I would. I cannot wait. And if they're qualified. If they're qualified. Ooh, prayers for the residents at the meetings tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy up there. Make sure you guys subscribe to. I'll be there, but I won't be filming if Reality Check Chicago and um uh Critical Smoker are filming. I don't need to stream. If they're streaming, I only fill in for them. They're my bros. I fill in for them and I support them. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be insane. Berg, did you see the flyer they originally put together Friday night regarding tonight's meeting? And they cleaned up the one they sent Saturday? No, fill me in. What happened? You know, I can't wait for this election. In my heart of hearts, I wish Tiffany would just resign. I wish she would just resign and let them at it. I wish she would just step down and let them have it. I really do. And then see everyone scramble. She's gonna be blamed for the next 8 years for sure. They're gonna say everything. We can't do anything because it's the previous administration. That happens all the time. I mean, not just in Dalton or South Holland or anything. That happens anytime new administration come in. Look, Biden came in because of the previous administration. Um, I want to know what happened. What happened? I miss it. Okay, the first had camo on it, telling people to bring newspaper and yell unasked that seat whenever Tiffany name it. Oh, Scott. Scott, you can't be serious. No, you got me choking over here. You can't be serious. Are you serious, Scott? No, I'm not gonna believe that. Really? I believe it. No, I'm just saying I believe it. The second one didn't have any of those instructions. Ugh. And what's so sad, people, real residents, it's just a distraction. Because real residents can't ask questions about the warrant list or ask government, hey, you know what, my roof caved in. I've been trying to get a hold of animal control. And, really, really questions that they need to ask. They're not going to be able to do that. Conscious say, I don't believe in wearing camo. It's a disrespect to those who served. Oh, I can see that. Mm. Y'all, it turned into a reality show. That's all. It turned into a reality show. I really wish like Tiffany would just step down and leave it. And I understand why she won't step down. She's fighting because I can see like I'm not gonna say Tiffany's perfect, but I could see they put 20 on 10 on a lot of stuff, and no one's else accountable. And she could not have done all this by herself. And some people are starting to wake up. Some people are starting to wake up. Like a lot of this stuff, it's just going to deter. We have to do the mail-in voting. It's going to deter people from wanting to go to the polls because of the bullying, and all that stuff. Um, I feel bad for some YouTubers that have to go through whatever they got to do. To It's a hot story. I get emails all the time. People be like, "Man, I'm just trying to make the money." I be like, "I understand. I understand. Um, get it. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming you, but they really be convicted because they be like, "Man, I can tell that it's just a one-sided narrative being pushed." And it really is. And anybody that don't agree with it, they're gonna get bullied. That's why I suggest to any YouTubers, you're new, you're getting into this, don't make friends. Go in there, film, and leave because it's competitive. I don't mind pushing people the best I can if I can, but it's make sure Tiffany Henyard is not your only form of content. Let the numbers drop. Let it drop. People are gonna build off your brand. You know what I mean? Off your brand, period. You just don't need the Tiffany Henyard hate train to be the only thing you consume. And I see content creators getting into it all the time, trying to take the highest spot. Y'all, it's about the residents. It's not about us. It's about the residents. And as a resident, um, I will say we're the only ones suffering. Thank God the Lord put me in a position where I haven't need to use some of those vital services. But to shut down, I thought we couldn't get insurance. I thought we weren't insurable. Y'all looking at the emails in your face, but nobody want to look at the emails because Keith Price is the one that printed it on paper. You're looking at the emails in your face. You're looking at Delgado say no, board approval. You're looking at Zuccarelli. Then people go back, well, was it approved in 2023? Research it yourself. I'm still researching. I can't be the all researcher. And then when I say yes, it was approved in 2021. Yes, it was approved in 2022. Well, what about 2023? Look, take a look. It's in a book. You go to the minutes and look and prove it. You know what I mean? We're saying that Zuccarelli had it on his agenda in 2021. Tiffany was appointed to Zuccarelli's seat. Y'all love to point that out. She wasn't elected. She was appointed. So we need board approval. Maybe we need board approval because Tiffany wasn't insurable. I don't know. But you have directly from Delgado saying, and from Casperi Group, board approval is needed, and they still wouldn't listen. Yes, that's a problem. That's a problem. Thanks for confirming to the Department of Justice. This is the problem. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they want the state to take over. I don't think we're I know a lot of people say we're close like Ford Heights, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But do I think they want the state to take over? No. They want to take over. They want to take over. And like I said, I really wish that Tiffany would just say, you know what? Let me pack up my duffel bag and I'm gone. Y'all can have this. Baby, you can have that. You can have the mayor stuff. But or the powers that be will move in if that's what you guys believe, that Tiffany is going to have silver bracelets, that they will move in. Right now it's just a bunch of people distracted from the situation just to get in the seat. No, it's just crazy. Do I think Jason House will be a terrible mayor? No, but do I think he got the wrong people around him? Absolutely. Yeah, that's just my opinion. I think it's the wrong people. Jason House has been in this government for over 18 years, if you count the Chamber of Commerce and everything like that. And I think a lot of the problem came into effect with that 2-term limit. You do realize with the 2-term limit, Jason House cannot be our trustee again. He has to become mayor. You do realize that Tiffany did not have a chance at being trustee again. She had to become mayor. I think that's going to be a problem. And this is my thoughts. This is like weird. I think that was part of the dream team plan. Like, you run, because they could sit out a term and come back to be trustee. So Tiffany could sit out this term, push Jason forward if they were still getting along, and then she could become trustee again. She could drop down to trustee. Jason could do his 4 years, step down. Kiana Belcher or Tammy Brown will be at the end of their 2-term limit. They could become trustee or village administrator, whatever you have. And it was supposed to be a rotation. And I was so excited about them because they were so young. I was so excited to see this young group of people take over the town. The village. And look at where we are now. Hey, where's Miss Cassandra Jordan? She been real quiet. Thanks, Wyoming. Wyoming said the only agenda I've seen with insurance on it was November of 2021. It was the renewal of property liability. I didn't see anything after that. Thanks, Wyoming. Oh, Lord, you done sent this, Scott. Let me see. Call to action, January 6th. Make hashtag Dalton Rising. Make self available for the next 3 meetings. Army fatigue, green, black uniform. Arrive 15 minutes before meet in the parking lot. Walk in together at 6:05. Not the newspaper. Oh, damn. Bring a newspaper. Anytime Tiffany is mentioned, respond unasked that seat. Oh, my goodness. Public comment, line up against the wall. Scott, What's the other one, Scott? Let's see. The cleaned up one. Is that this one? Okay. Oh, the Chat GPT entered. It was more professional. The other one was real professional, and it says, okay, investigate and advocate, and the protest will be conducted peacefully. This Monday night during the monthly trustee meeting, we have planned to stand in solidarity to voice our concerns and demand accountability on issues that deeply impact us all. However, we want to be unequivocal in stating that our protest will be conducted peacefully. We invite all citizens who share their values to join us. Let us come together, stand firmly for justice, fairness, and the well-being of our community. Let our presence be known. Okay, yeah, they took off the unasked that seat. Okay. Y'all, good luck tonight. Good luck tonight. Conscious, I ain't putting that on. I'll send it to you. I ain't putting that on my wall, girl. No, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm not putting that on my wall. I appreciate it. Oh, but then they just reposted the original one. So this was gonna happen. The people that say unasked that seat, they gonna be getting arrested. Then they gonna be on the news. They gonna be like, I was peacefully protesting, and then and then we're gonna stand outside and demand okay. Y'all, this is what the residents, I want y'all to realize. No matter if Jason is mayor, we still here. No matter if Tiffany is mayor, we're still here. It's going to be harder for us to get rid of our houses and to move, or for people to want to move into the village with all this chaos running amok. But alas, we are here, and no one's going to stop it, because everyone on both sides got so much to lose. And that is what it is. It's nothing else. They got so much to lose. That's why sometimes I be thinking like, man, if Tiffany just stepped down, they could just have it and call it a day. But then I understand why she wouldn't step down. No telling what's not to be proven, what was lied on about, things of that nature. I get it. So we here, child. We here, and we hanging on. And Tiffany's going to make both meetings like she always does. She's going to get business done. Public comment going to be exhausting all day long. Y'all stay prayed up for the people out here. And support one another. Hopefully now the insurance is rolling. Let's get stuff back.
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
You want to be long-winded? I'm just asking.
Because at the bottom line is we just trickled all of our nonsense over to affect the next 17 municipalities. And when I mean all of our nonsense, I don't mean the recent. Look at what the history tell us. The history, we have 2 people saying she was already terrible as a mayor. Why put her there? As always, take care of yourself and each other. Love you guys. Bye.
Commentary blue, commentary, burgundy, commentary, comment blue, commentary, comment burgundy blue, commentary blue, commentary.